guys, in this video I want to show you a really awesome flamenco form called Colombianas that you don't hear quite that often. But what we can do is mix two flamenco forms that you may already know to instantly be able to play this form. So real quick, let's talk about two forms that you may know already, Farruca and Tangos. I've done videos on those, so check those out. But what Farruca does for the most part is E7 to A minor, E7 to A minor, then a D minor, back to A minor, E7, A minor. But you're gonna need that E7 in a second. And then Tangos is gonna take an A major like this. That's kind of the way that we in flamenco can play an A chord, and then we play a B flat chord. Luckily, we won't have a chord that hard in Colombianas, at least what we're doing right now. B flat to A, and that rhythm goes like this: 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, something like that. And then Farruca's pretty straightforward too. It's 1, 2, 3. So they're both in 4/4 time, but what Colombianas does is it takes the E7, we could say from Farruca, instead of going from E7 to A minor, it goes from E7 to A major, so we're in the key of A major, and then it's gonna go to a D chord, just like in Farruca it went to D minor. We're gonna go to D major, that's the 4 chord in the key of A, back to A, and then E7, and then back to A again. But the groove is not exactly like Farruca, although like I said, they're both in 4/4 time. I think of it as really a rumba kind of vibe. The rhythm of Tangos is more what we're hearing in Colombianas. So real quick, here's what Colombianas would look like. So it has a little bit of a swingy vibe to it, and there's different ways we can do it. What happens in a lot of modern stuff is we do things on the and, very often the and of 4, just an option. So what I did there with the arpeggio was 1, 2, 3, 4, and. A little more modern, or you might go 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3. For now though, if you're just getting into this, just do this. 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2. Here's that D chord, just going down and up. A, E7. Now let's work on the rhythm a little bit. We're gonna tap, up, down, up. Up, down, up. We put a tie there over the third beat. Things are getting a little more complicated or syncopated. 1 and 2 and 4 and. Let's do that rhythm over the whole progression. 1 and 2 and 4 and. So it very much follows that Farruca chord progression, except we're playing an A major and a D major instead of minor chords. But the groove, when we get to the end of this, is going to definitely be more of a Tangos vibe. Again, here's Tangos. Colombianas. So the groove is definitely more similar. You could say chords from Farruca, kind of, and the groove from Tangos. Let's add one more thing to that rhythm and we'll have a pretty legit Colombianas rhythm here. We're gonna go tap and then up with the index, down with the ring, and down with the index, and a couple of 16th notes there. When you do this, I, rasgueo, keep your middle finger out, bring them both in at the same time. Even though we're not using the ring finger yet, be careful not to hit the ring finger on the upstroke. We only want it for the down. So I'm going up with the index, down with the ring, down with the index, and we get this sound. Okay, tap and a 2, 1 and a 2. Okay, everything else we're gonna keep the same, the tie that we had and everything else. Tap and a 2 and 4 and. Don't worry, we'll do that scale run that I did at the beginning at the end of this. Here's another great way to play those exact same chords. If you get tired of playing E7 down here, play it up here. You could even add an F sharp there. Sounds a little more South American, Brazilian-y sound. And then for A, we can do this, the same exact shape. That would be a major 6 chord. So what we hear a lot in Colombianas is we have a major chord with a 6th on top. Kind of characteristic of that, and that same 6th we can play over the 5 chord, E7 in this case, and that is a 9th over that chord. 6s and 9s you hear a lot in Brazilian stuff. This is not Brazilian, but it has definitely that flavor to it. So we can play E7 like this, then just move the same shape to the floor, and we have A6. Move it down here, and we have a way of playing D minor. This is a D minor 6 chord. And I know earlier I said it's a D major chord, not minor. So you could do this. Here's D major 6 and then make it minor. The reason that it's minor, this is a pretty typical thing. This is coming from the parallel minor of A minor. So you could say we just kind of stole that from Farruca, if you like, just for that moment. So it's going D, make it minor if you like, and then back to A. That's just an option for you. And then E7, and then we're back again. Let's see what that sounds like up here. A couple cases there, I did 2 of these in a row, so it's just totally up to you as long as we keep that vibe. We were at the beginning going 1 and a 2 and, but you could do a couple in a row. 1 and a 2 and a 3 and 4 and if you've seen my tangos video, we did exactly that. And you don't have to tap on the first beat either. If you are uncomfortable with that, we can play just a bass note, that works too, or don't do anything, but a bass note would sound like this. Sounds pretty good, and you should definitely mess around with arpeggios. That's really fun to do that in this case. An F natural sounds pretty cool now and then. It's not in the key, but it gives you this kind of D minor sound for a moment there. We can do a big finish here. If you know Farruca, at this point in the compás, they might do something like this. Kind of a closer. Here we're in the key of A major, we're gonna just play this downward descending major scale. And then we can play A like this or any way that you like. Those were all triplets going triplet, 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 down on the A. I'm in the first position here. You could start in the second position if you like to use your stronger fingers, but we're gonna have to end up in the first position eventually to get this G sharp note. So let's take it from here. I'm playing my thumb on the D string, giving us the flavor of a D chord there. And when you play certainly rest strokes, picado, which is alternating index and middle rest strokes, it feels better, in my opinion, to play your middle finger when your thumb plays simultaneously than it is to use your index finger. So I'm starting with my middle finger, going thumb and middle, pull off, continuing to alternate. That was the index finger in the right hand, then middle finger is always gonna alternate, strictly alternate, even when you cross strings. And down here I played the 3rd fret, D, then to C sharp on the 2nd fret, then open, got an A note, here's G sharp. I suggest leaving that the whole rest of the way. Even if that feels weird, it ends up being a nice anchor for us. And if you take this finger off, you might accidentally sound that string. That's not in the key, G natural, so that will sound wrong. So leave it down and kind of pivot off of it like this. Okay. And then up here on A, I went like this. Kind of flicking off my thumb. You could do anything. A million different ways to do that. Just strum with your thumb, doesn't matter. Another way to play A, if you don't like this bar, is to do this, which we could say is coming from the G form of an A chord, and partial form of that. I think it's good to have that high A note in there at the end. It just sounds like a more resolute finish to me. Go ahead. So as you get more comfortable with this, there's a lot of things you can experiment with. I like to do stuff like this in the bass, and you hear this a lot in some Colombianas versions where we might go something like this. So we're doing this chromatic walk into notes in the chord. So if we go C sharp, C natural to B, that's the 4th fret of the 5th string, 3rd fret of the 2nd, and then play do whatever you want on that E7, and then do it again, but keep going downwards. 2nd fret, 1st fret, open, that's the root of A. So come back. So this could be in the context of arpeggios, going something like that. So get started working on Colombianas. These are really fun to play. You should listen to the Colombianas from Manolo Franco, really awesome one. And Paco de Lucia has an insane one in drop D that you should absolutely check out. And if you like this kind of stuff, I have a monthly membership where I have all my tabs, all my tutorials, all my courses. If you'd like to check that out, you can find out more about that below. And if you don't know tangos, you gotta learn how to play that right here.